Please, yeah.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Sukshita ma'am, Jasdeep ma'am, and Ablasha ma'am. We welcome you all to this session. As we all know, Sukshita ma'am is an associate director, digital assurance and RPA at Inkture Technologies. She is a dedicated professional, proficient in running successful method-oriented operations and taking initiatives for process improvements, targeting assignments in portfolio management, BD, account management, and service delivery. She has over 14 years of experience in leading product development and project delivery verticals and working in different technologies and multiple geographies. She is also an excellent communicator with exceptional interpersonal and problem solving skills with flexible attitude. Uh, we welcome you, ma'am. We are very excited to hear you. And I hope this session will be very amazing for all of us, for all of the audience who are present here. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kushbu. Really, thank you for the warm welcome. And thank you, Women in Big Data India chapter, for giving us this opportunity. And it is a quite honor for us to enable the women community here, and especially in the data science or in the robotic process automation or in the hyper automation journey. Along with me, I have Ambika and Santoshi. Ambika is project manager at Incher. She takes care of multiple RPA projects, and Santoshi is RPA architect at Incher. So, quickly about me, I think brief introduction about me. I think there is nothing much more to say. However, my experience with women in big data has been really good. And this is my second session, I believe. I think once I was a panelist, and this is a session which I'm taking. Quite happy to make such a productive, useful day of this weekend. So to start with, what would we cover today? Because it's just an hour window we have. I would quickly give overview about the company, how we are working, how we are set, and then need of hyper automation, right? Need of bot. So today's topic is building bot via RPA. So what is bot? Why RPA only, or how is this complete hyper automation journey is complemented by RPA? How does the future look like? Why are we talking so much about bot? Is something which we would discuss initial 15-20 minutes. And then there are multiple tools, which can be used for building bot. You might have heard about many in the market, right? So today we would have a focused demo and hands-on with one of the tool, which is SAP's Intelligent Robotic Process Automation tool. Consecutively, we will also have some more hands-on session provided more opportunity with other tools like UiPath or Automation Anywhere or other. And we would also discuss about typical use cases in the industry. How can we quickly see for any of the opportunity in our day-to-day activity, may it be, being like a student in the college versus, maybe in any line of business you are working in, how can we quickly build bots? And yeah, Santoshi would take over, and she will also give some hands-on session on building bots via SAP. So, quick 2 minutes about Incher. Incher is 15 years old company. We are headquartered in India, and we have spread across and we
Yeah,
are.
excuse me. Excuse me. Actually, you are not clearly audible. I think some problem in audio, or I am the only one who is facing the issue. If participants can share their feedback.
Yes, there
Yeah.
is a little bit of
Yeah, please.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sukshita, you can just come closer to the mic if possible. This is Soumya here. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, hi Soumya.
Thank
Is it better now?
Yes, much better.
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I was a little away from the system. Okay. Yeah, so quickly about InChurch, we are 15-year-old company. We are SAP Silver Partner, and most of our solutions are on, advanced technologies related to SAP, Azure, and we are also Apple UiPath and Apple Tricentis partner. So we also have some of our products hosted in SAP Store, which are labeled under Cherrywork branding. And most of our solutioning are focused to core industries like manufacturing, consumer goods and retail, energy and natural resources, and life sciences. Yeah, I would not spend much on here because this is a precious time, and we'll move to next, which is the course topic. Yes. So today in the industry or across, right, when we look around, we get to hear lot many new tools or lot many new technologies. We get to hear about analytics. There are many who are talking about machine learning, and then there is process mining and a lot more. But then we also wonder that how are they impacting the hyper automation journey? Right? We don't know. Like at times, these tools, should they be independently used or should we integrate it and use? I think that is a question which needs to be addressed right away. So what RPA does, the RPA brings in these tools together, and it stitches in a right way so that there is a appropriate hyper automation journey. So there is a good digital transformation happen. And we at InChurch promote the same. We look at all the problem statement which customer has, and see what exactly the tools and technology customer is currently having, or what he would like to go for, and then we would come up with our solutioning, which by suggesting the right tools and technology and putting them in a right way. So that's the kind of transformation which we bring, and we call it as a digital transformation journey. So a little more about RPA, right? Because today's topic is mostly on building bots via RPA. And RPA, or robotic process automation, I think we get to hear a lot. There are, not many projects at different universities people are working on. And this is kind of a happening term since last 2-3 years. So what it is and how will that take over? Is it there to take over the employment, or is it there to help the employees and to improve the IT sector? Yes. So here is the study. So Gartner says that, or Gartner predicts that by 2024, there will be organizational operations cost which will reduce by 30%. Right? So operation cost can be anything where a person is involved or a machine involved to do a day-to-day activity. As simple as the resume screening, which is done by the HR team in most of the companies. Imagine larger companies who are screening their the resumes like around 500 to 1,000 or 1,000 plus resumes on a day-to-day basis. What does that completes in a span of minutes instead of a dedicated person, so that that person can be well utilized for other strategical or innovative work. So that's the prediction, right? So it will reduce around 30% of operational cost, brings around 80% efficiency increase in the human resource. And overall, that would bring around 32x faster process time via automation. So, which is really good, right? Which means there is cost optimization, there is productivity improvement, and it is not a fear that someone is losing job. Instead, that person can be very well utilized for better work. So we will know how. Right? So how do this complete journey would happen, or how do we take such process for building bots? So what we do are, with some 4 to 5 steps. We first understand the process gaps. Like, say for example, there is hire to retire process, and we see in the complete hire to retire process, how long each and every task is taking time. What is the average handling time of each and every task, and can that be automated? What if we automate? What is the time we are giving back to the system? So we discover the process gap and move to designing them. I don't know if this. Okay, yeah. Move to designing the process. So we like after identifying the gap, in case if there are new rules to be introduced or some new forms to be brought in, we bring in such process, and then we automate such process, the ones which are identified. It could be like record, run, or build, monitor. And once the automation is done, we should further evolve, right? It shouldn't stop. Like automation is not the end point. We must see what is that automation is giving back to the system. So that's where we bring in the process monitoring and analytics, so which gives a better transformation journey. And how do we do that? We have a small, hands-on session today. So before we go there, as I said, we have this 4 to 5 steps in identifying the process and bringing it to the automation course of journey. But further, we have divided it to different stages. So it can be a complicated automation process, or it can also be as simple as screen scraping. There is some one window where we continuously input some data for other data output. Why can't that be automated? So it can be as simple as a static rule set and a screen scraping activity, versus as complicated as to the stage 3, where we integrate multiple tools for NLPs, which means like natural language processing, and for machine learning activities, etc., and which will have a lot of fuzzy logic into it. So we call this complete journey from stage 1 to stage 3 as, from doing, thinking to learning, which means, we start to do with very basic, and then through this journey, we are also maturing towards stage 2, where we are making the bot to think like human, or we are making it smart, while in the stage 3, it is learning more. It is giving us more of the analytical input, which helps us to reduce the operational cost. So what are the value we get? So I think like a couple of them I have been repeating, where the productivity improvement and cost optimization, etc. So few more are, the bot will allow parallel and immediate scalability option in the business. it can introduce new technology, and technology adoption ratio within the companies or within the organization would increase. It would accelerate digital transformation, improves the operation, and generates the saving, of course, the cost optimization, reinforce the compliance, because there would be a zero error process which is completely automated. All right, so reinforce the compliance and reduce human errors and improve the user satisfaction and pride. So I think end of the day, all that we want to achieve from automation or from bot is, to bring in that helping hand in the form of the satisfactory. So the employee satisfaction and customer satisfaction is the end game, right? It can be from any of the values, but both employee and customer being satisfied is something what we want to try to achieve through this complete digital transformation journey, and especially when we build. We would now move to our second segment, where we will discuss about SAP Intelligent Robotic Process Automation, which is a tool we are using for today's demo session, via which we will also build bot. Ambika, you want to?
Yeah, Sukshita, thank you. I'm just sharing my screen. Just give me a sec.
You may want to continue while I have shared, or
okay, sure. Okay, Sukshita.
No, you may continue. Okay. No problem.
Possible?
Any questions till now? Yeah, let's proceed.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So myself, Ambika. So I work in Inter Technologies as a manager handling RPA projects. So as part of the discussion today, we are trying to understand what SAP IRPA is and how to implement it. So before getting into the process, so let's just understand as to why we would require RPA. Okay, so when it comes to any organization, okay, so and all the employees as a start of the day, they will be doing some monotonous activities or repetitive activities. It can be as simple as going through their emails or trying to bring up an Excel sheet where they will compute some data or uploading some information. So these are some of kind of like routine tasks which day in, day out, the employees can be doing. And also throughout the day, if you look at it, they will be occupied with these routine tasks for almost 90% of the time. And then they'll be having only a small amount of time left for other creative activity. Okay. And if a person keeps on proceeding with this kind of task, obviously they will get bored out, and then they will try to see how well they can improve this activities. So which will get into the way of automation. So that's where RPA comes into picture. So with the help of RPA, so what we can do is we can actually leverage it to help us with our daily routine task, and also automate some of the complex scenarios which can be helpful with auditing purposes, or also for time saving. So that is the main purpose why we developed lots of workflows using RPA. And if you look at it right now, people might be saying RPA is actually taking over people's job. Okay, but the actual thing, how the trend is turning out, is it is actually giving the employees additional time or additional bandwidth so that they can focus on other creative work or any other improvement that they can bring to the organization. That's how the trend is turning towards. So RPA is definitely not taking away the job, but instead it is actually improving our work. Okay, so that's the reason why many organizations, if you look at it, they actually tend to automate quite a lot of repetitive tasks and also make sure their productivity is good. So that is the main reason of getting into RPA. Okay, so now we will try to understand what RPA is. So RPA, as the term stands, it is the robotic process automation, okay, where we will try to automate the routine task and also any integrations with different systems that can be handled via RPA. So right now, there are many tools available in the market for RPA, and most of these tools, if you look at it, it has already inbuilt integrations available with various systems. So which will help you to easily automate and also make sure the work is seamless. So there will not be any hindrance to the work, and it will not be any user dependent. So once you have the process automated, day in, day out, RPA will take care of the task without any issues. So there will not be any problem with the quality, or there will not be any hindrance to the execution. And also you will be able to see the task progressing clearly, and also you will be having a tracker, and also you will be able to monitor the activities. So these are some of the benefits which we get from RPA. And along with automation, you will be able to record the processes that is happening. So once you have an RPA in place, okay, so in case if you want to review or if you want to identify what has happened with the execution, you will be able to identify the data. So this kind of analysis or this audit records, that was like time consuming activity when it was done manually. Now that with RPA, we will be able to have a recording option as well available, which is inbuilt with many of the RPA tools. Okay. So when it comes to RPA, we usually discuss about bots. Okay. So predominantly, if you look at all the RPA tools, the bots are categorized as attended and unattended. Okay. So as the name stands, when it means an unattended bot, it is nothing but we have a bot which is available in the system, and it is either triggered based on any time frame or based on any trigger point. Suppose if there is any activity which has completed, it will be taking it as a trigger point, and then it will proceed with the next set of activities. That is how an unattended bot works, which is nothing but it doesn't depend on any human intervention at all. Once you have the workflow defined and it is scheduled, it will be able to pick up the task without any hindrance. But when it comes to the attended bot, the workflow will be there in place, it will be automated, but the only thing is it can be triggered as and when we need it. So there may be some of the tasks which is not expected to run day in, day out, or it doesn't have any time frame to execute, or it doesn't have any trigger point. And but we might be having that automation in place so that we can use it as and when it is needed. So that is when the attended bot comes into picture, where we have the workflow defined, but we just trigger it on need basis. Okay, so that is the major difference when you have an attended bot and an unattended bot. Okay, and when it comes to attended, so most of the work that is done by attended bot is end-to-end. So there will not be any intervention from human intervention where you will have to either trigger or view the data or anything. So it will not be required at all when it comes to unattended. But when it comes to an attended bot, okay, so you can actually plan for an attended bot when there is any human intervention required to see if the data is proper or if the state of execution, if it is in the right state. So if any checks is required in between or any human interaction is required in between, in that cases, we can plan for an attended bot. Okay. So now comes to what can be automated, okay, or what processes that we should be picking up for automation. Okay. So for example, when we have a Excel data where we are reading out the information, when it comes to an Excel, it is a defined format. So where you have it in a tabular data, where you will be able to store some information which can be retrieved and it can be processed for a backend processing or for any other updation in the web application. So for those kind of activities, we can take up automation, which is the standard readable electronic input type. Okay, so that can be taken up for automation, and also any repetitive activity. So day in, day out, in case if we have to monitor the status of any particular activity, or if we have to upload any particular document, if that is the activity that has to be done on a daily basis or on a day multiple times, then yes, that is a very good case for automation, as it is a repetitive process which will save us time as well. Okay. And then the processes with low exception rate. Okay, so suppose if there are any simple processes, which is like eyes closed, you can get it done. You do not have to think much, but it still requires, it is still being done manually. Then in that case, yes, we can pick that up for automation. And then any rule-based processes. So by rule-based, what we try to define here is, suppose if there is a value XYZ, then according to that, we have to update somewhere, some update in the backend or update in the application with some information. Then according to that, it is a defined rule. So if A is the value, updated to B, B is the value, updated to C, something like that. So if we have a defined rule, then yes, we can define this rule within the bot, and bot will be taking care of the logic, and then it will update the data as required. Okay, and then high volume and low complexity. So suppose I have thousands of data to be uploaded into a website or to be stored into the database. Then updating each and every record one by one is not the ideal way to proceed. Okay, so if you have it automated, then yes, bot will make sure all the data is updated accurately and also with a better saving time. Okay. And then stable processes and underlying application. Okay, so once we have a stable application, which means this application is always going to behave in this particular way, and this is the interaction, or this is the input, this is the output. So you will be having a defined set of result and defined set of processes for those stable application, which means it is very easy to define what will be the workflow for the application, and you can automate it using RPA. Okay, and then processes which are performed by a large team. Suppose person X has to take up a particular validation and person Y has to take up the next set of validation. Okay, then in that case, there is an interaction required by multiple people within the team. Okay, so in such instances, suppose if we collate all the processes that are done by various teams and then integrate into the workflow, then this dependency with various team members, that can be removed, so that we can have a RPA bot, okay, which will be able to take care of the entire processing without any intervention from the teams. Okay, and the other one, swivel chair process. So what I mean by here is, suppose I have a data, and if the same data needs to be updated in multiple places, maybe in multiple websites, or in multiple spreadsheets, or in multiple databases, or from database we have to create a copy and then update to a website, then it's like we are doing the same data processing, but just the destination is different. So with that being the case, automation will be able to help out so that it can go ahead and make sure it is getting updating the data in multiple places without any issues with the data quality. Okay, so these are some of the ideal cases which we will be choosing for automation with RPA. And then the criteria to select a process for automation. So when we say that these processes can be automated, okay, so we need to assess if it is automation worthy or if it should be automated or not. Okay, so as we repeatedly said, the routine task. Yes, so if we have any data processing, or if we have any workflow which is being done on a routine basis, every day in, day out, if you're doing the same activity without any differences, yes, that can definitely be automated using RPA. And then huge volume of data. So when it comes to processing a single data, the workflow is going to be the same. So when we define the same process, then it can handle multiple transactions as well. So which will help you to save some time. Okay. And then when we have interactions with multiple systems. So when I mentioned about the larger teams, there it was like a team interaction, but it can be considered as a multiple system interactions as well. So if we are connecting to multiple systems and the data needs to be processed from one system to the other, or if it has to be updated from one system to the other, then those kind of activities can be handled using RPA. Okay. And if you look at it, we have just listed some of the activities based on the business lines. Okay, so for example, for lead to cash, so there can be some approval process involved for capital expenditure and invoice processing. So these approval processes, it will be a defined workflow. So the workflow is not going to change much. So you will be having a approver, reviewer, and then the final submission can happen. So when the process is going to be the same, which means it is a defined set of process which will be repeated for each and every item, which can be processed using RPA. And when it comes to the account opening, so we can have huge volume of accounts which has been received for account opening, which can be handled using RPA. Okay, so similarly, we have provided some of the instances which can be automated for hire to retire, design to operate, and source to pay. So these are some of the criteria that we choose for picking up a process for automation. So we have just discussed some based on the experience from various customers. Okay, so these are some of the challenges which they come up with, and how we try to eliminate these challenges using RPA. Okay, so the first one is with respect to the integrations. So as we discussed earlier as well, so there are instances where a process has to integrate with multiple systems or multiple application, back end, front end, or any other third party integrations. So all these integrations for a person to go ahead and verify, that will be a bit difficult. So for those, we can actually implement using RPA, where RPA can handle all the integrations. And with respect to the processes as well, it is, suppose if you have a defined process, then it will not be flexible for a person to change the process. But when it comes to RPA, you can actually define the solution, and also the processes can be updated as and when there is any change in the organization. So similar to these, we have multiple issues that has been defined by the customers. Manual data entry can be automated by repeating the task and going through each and every entry and updating using RPA. And then the data extraction, and when it's done by the robots, then obviously the data quality is consistent and we will not have an issue. And then any migration activity that needs to be done. So all these are some of the issues that we have observed, and some of the solutions that we provide using RPA. So now, so this is with respect to some of the implementations that we have done using RPA. So we have implemented across the globe. So if you look at it, we have implemented North America, Oman, India, and the UAE. So some of the customers had issues when it comes to data processing, or when it comes to updating the record in the backend, or maintaining the data, or extracting the information from the documents. So we try to help them with the RPA bot. So the first scenario was it's with respect to the comparing data, and we'll have to update the data. So which handled huge volumes of information which has to be processed. Okay. And the next one was a blind activity where we had to read the information from the portal, validate the data, and update in the backend. So which is like a monotonous activity which will be repeated every time when there is a request coming up. And the third one, when we look at it, it is the IT declaration process, where it is a routine task for the HR people, where they will have to perform these activities on a monthly basis, so that the salaries is processed on time. So kind of like repeating the same activity every month. And the last one is the data extraction process, where we will try to extract information from various files and convert it into a common format for the upload into the repository. Okay. And if you look at it, so with the help of these solutions, even the customer was quite happy with it, and they were if you look at this customer testimonials, they were actually happy with how their business transformed, and also how they could save time, and also save their they had a great savings with implementing these solutions. So this is one of the use case that I was discussing. Okay, so here if we look at it, we describe what was the challenge with respect to the IT declaration process, that they had to manually handle huge volumes of data on a monthly basis by the HRT. And the solution is bot will be able to process the huge volume of data, and whatever data is required by the HR, we will be able to provide it in a defined format. So that is the kind of solution we provided. And when it comes to the systems, as I said, RPA was able to integrate with various systems. Here, if you look at it, it was integrating with SuccessFactors, Excel, Outlook, and SharePoint. Okay. And when it comes to the business impact, okay, so earlier they were taking huge lot of time to get this processed on a monthly basis. And after implementing using RPA, they had an 80% reduction in their processing time. And since it was numbers which is related to the salary of the employees, it has to be error-free. So now, after removing the human intervention, it had 0 errors in the processing, and we were able to deliver with, we were able to give it back with 200 hours of saving for the HRT. Okay. So with this, I will give it to Santoshi. Okay, so she will be explaining about how the implementation works with IRP and what are the components available in IRP.
Yes, Ambika, thank you. I'm sharing my screen. Ambika, can you please enable for me to attend the
Yeah, yeah.
screen?
Please raise your hand so that I can find you in the participants, and then I'll give
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
rights. Yeah,
Okay, sure.
please.
Santoshi needs to be made co-host.
Yeah, I'm just searching.
Wow. Santoshi is
Yes,
being,
yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
raised my hand. Yeah.
she's there.
yes. Please check now.
Yes, I just trying to. Yes, I can share.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, let me know once you can able to see my screen. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
Santoshi.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So good evening to everyone. I'm Santoshi. I work for Intuit Technologies in RPA domain. So today we are discussing about the automation and one of the most excited and very stable tool is the SAP IRPA automation tool. So I'm going through the solution overview. That means the how RPA we can build and how we can build the solutions. And also I'm going to give you the demo on any one of the simple use case so that you can able to understand how it works step by step. So let's start the first slide. So first, okay, for SAP Intelligent Automation Processing, it is a SAP tool, as you're already aware of it. Already, as my colleague Ambika has explained about the several like SAP and non-SAP tools, how we can able to automate it. It is not only the SAP related tools, we can also automate some tools which are like web-based or we can integrate the third-party MS or MS Office tools also. Of course, we can do the RPA UI5 via UI and traditional RPA technologies or SAP, all these built-in SAP support. This SAP HANA and ML service calls and all. And also one thing is we can also simple to very complex projects also we can able to integrate complex in the sense we can also integrate multiple applications like web-based. If customer using multiple web-based applications, those also we can integrate in the single automation tool. Like one by one, first it will perform the automation on one desktop application, and after that it will take one output from the desktop application. The output can be used as an input for any web-based applications. So that means we can integrate in the same automation tool different technologies, different kind of desktop applications, web applications, also the MS. If you want to integrate the Excel for any kind of the Excel activity, Excel automations, or if you want to run any macros on the Excel before, like if you want to define Excel in proper way by running the macro on the Excel, everything we can able to integrate in the simple automation tool in the single automation workflow. So, and the maintenance is also correct. It is very simple. Like we can use the multiple scripting languages. For example, in the single automation tool, you want to integrate the JavaScript. JavaScript in the sense, for example, you have one website. There that HTML attributes can be able to. It will be a dynamically changing. Once you load the, for example, if any e-commerce site, if you take an example of Amazon e-commerce site, if you launch one time, the HTML attributes are different. For example, and they are dynamically changing. In that case, what we can do is we can use our JavaScript to read the HTML attribute values. Depending on that, bot can able to make the decision, like whether it has to go to that page, it has to click on where it has to click, and all those things. So that is a kind of a complex project where we are going to use the JavaScript in the automation, and also we can use the macro in the Excel applications, and we are also integrating the Outlook activities. If, for example, if you've done one automation like any invoice processing or anything you have done, and you have to give the status report to the users, like for example, the 1,000 invoices we have processed, and the thousand for the all 1,000 invoices we have to give the status report, like whether it successfully proceeded or not, or if any issues occurred, or is there any if any like criteria are not matching. In that case, what we have to do is we have to generate one status report, and every day after once the bot execution is completed at the end, we have to send a report to the concerned team. That time we have to do what we have to do is we have to integrate the Outlook also. So and once it's done, like bits and pieces, we can just develop different packages, and we can call the packages. We can call the different packages in single. You can use your customized packages and all if you want to use it in the complex projects. So simple in the sense it is just a simple one web-based activity you are using, and you can just extracting some data, and you are saving it in Excel sheet, and you are sending to the customers. So those kind of activities also we can able to do. And also one thing is a cloud platform. I tell later we will go with this cloud platform, what it is and how we are going to use it in SAP IRPA, what it means. Okay, and the integration, as I already I had explained that SAP HANA and SAP uh, login applications or any SAP web-based application like Ariba portals and all that also we can do. And also third-party systems means okay, if you are using OCR is also okay. This is you will most of the times you will hear this word like OCR technologies. That means we use this technology to a kind of to read the PDFs, kind of a PDF like text-based PDF, image-based PDFs. In that case, we may required. We also have a built-in reading OCRs in the SAP IRPA. But sometimes what happens is when the PDF formats are different and we want to read some handwritten values on the PDF or the invoices list receipt, anything if you want to read, in that case, we have to take a help from the third party system. For example, third party system, I can say about the Tabula Python, if anyone knows about the Python, there is a tabular process. In that case, we can read the PDFs in the tabular manner, or any table is there, we can directly read that table by using the any templates. Those kind of integration also we can able to do it in the IRPA. Also, Abby is one of the most used and the popular OCR tool for the to read the any PDF based activity. If we want to automate any PDF based activities, that also we can able to integrate. What I'm trying to say is, if this IRP is free, like it will allow us to integrate any third party systems also within it, to integrate end to end, to if you want to build any end to end process successfully. Okay. Okay. Now the components, like in SAP IRPA, we have three components. One is the desktop studio. Desktop studio is a kind of a application. I will show you. It is an you can just remember that it is a desktop kind of application. It will help us to build a bot, like design how we want to design the bot, like which application has to come first, which application has to come next. In that particular application, what are all the activities we want to execute? Those kind of a designing process, we use the desktop studio. This is the cloud studio. Cloud factory is a kind of once you build the bot, okay, you want to orchestrate the bot, means you want to deploy the bot on one platform, like a kind of a one environment where your bot can everything bot has to deploy. Once you deploy, you have to authorize the bot. Like for example, for my machine, I have one RDP for remote machine. On that remote machine, I want to run the specific bot. For example, PO processing bot I have designed here, and I deployed the PO process in the cloud factory. In now I have to authorize PO process who has to run, whether I am authorized to run, or my colleague or any other team or any other clients have to run this one. So I need to authorize that particular person on the machine name, on the particular RDP machine only, it has to execute. So that kind of the authorization to keep the monitoring purpose, we can also monitor whether the job is successfully executed or not. If you want to schedule the jobs, for example, every day 5 p.m. IST, I need to, that bot has to automatically execute. Those kind of activities, we can do it in a cloud platform. I will show you what is the cloud factory and how we have to deploy, and how can we monitor, how can we schedule the bots and all the things. This is a second component. So when we come to the third component, it is a desktop agent. Okay, as I told, I have to authorize. Here I designed, here I deployed. Here I am just this is agent is a kind of a tray. You just remember that, okay, you are taking something and you are serving in a tray. So it is a kind of a tray. It is small application that we need to install on a client machine where you want to execute your bot. For example, on I want to execute my PO process bot, which created here on one RDP machine. So on that remote machine or virtual machine, we have to install this tool agent. So when you trigger the bot here, it will automatically authorize because I have already given the machine ID and the login profile. So for example, ABC user can able to access this PO process bot on INC 1053 machine. So on this INC 1053 machine, the agent is installed. Now, once you trigger the bot, the agent will directly connect with Cloud Factory and it will execute the task on that particular machine. So this
I
is
think you can move to demo for
uh,
better understanding of
yes,
these
yes, yes.
integration.
Okay, okay. So these are some SAP applications, and these are the like normally how I explained that OCR tools and all. So those are the non-SAP applications. In the sense, we can able to automate SAP and non-SAP applications. So when I move to the okay, as I explained, this is the like Cloud Factory Studio, and the store. Store is the kind of a like where we can see all the other additional packages. This is the browser extensions. Browser extensions means if we want to automate something on any like Chrome browser, that a particular associated extensions needs to be installed on the web applications. This is agent I have explained, and this is the studio. So once we come to this is just an architecture on like overview how the Cloud Factory on-premise and the other end we can develop and design and administrate the tools. Okay, so for first, the steps to whenever we go to the designing phase, the steps to design is the capture application. If you want to, first we have to capture the applications, whether it is desktop application or a web-based application, we need to capture, and we have to define the like attributes. We have to define the variables. After that, we can build the automation like step by step. What are the steps we have to define it? And the data we have to store the data in environments, and with that these environments can be reusable in the entire process. And after that we have to test the application. These are the steps while building the any automation tools. So okay, so here for an example, I'm taking one one demo for your understanding. That is one web-based application. There, what bot has to do is it has to capture all the HR user employee information from the employee list applications. Bot has to. It will be a list of employee list. Bot has to go through the each and every employee. It has to click, and it has to capture the employee email address, like address, first name, last name, and all, and it has to save all the data in one Excel sheet, and it has to share the Excel sheet with the particular like a concerned team in a by using the Outlook. So this is the like as in process how they are doing it and how we automated, how it saved the time and all. So if I go to first I will show you the okay. The first thing is to if you want to if you want to try to install this package, you want to go you have to create one BTP account. Once you register your BTP account, and you can also do with your Gmail account. We have a free trial licensed versions, and it will allow you to execute some 500 bots. So
Santoshi, if you can share these links in the chat with the participant, it will be really
yeah,
helpful.
Yeah,
Please.
we can.
Yeah, we will
So,
share
okay,
this post the session, all of these links.
yes.
Or
Okay.
you
Okay.
want us to
Perfect.
share right away for hands-on?
No, no.
Yeah, that
If you
also
are
I can
sharing
do.
it after this session, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we will
Okay.
share.
Yeah. The first, yeah, sure. I will share. Okay. Yeah. The first thing is you have to go to the BTP trial account. Go to your trial account. If you do not have, you have to register. You can also do it your. It will just ask some questions, and once you done this one, you can just go to your trial account. So once you go to the trial account, this will automatically comes the environments and all. After that, you have to assign some roles. So that document you can see here, like role assignment, how you have to do the role assignment. I will just give you the steps here. If you open to the BTP account, go to the SAP and Security Trust Center, you have to add these role collections. Okay. And also mapping the role collections also you have to do. Once you've done this one, it is very simple. Here, there are, you can see that multiple steps, but if you go there and click on the security and role collection, you can directly see the groups and all. You have to get your, you have to add all the things and you will get the tenant ID like this. Okay. And here, once you get the tenant ID, you just have to log in here. So I told you, right, for earlier there was a new three component for SAP IRPA 1.0. There are three components. One is the like studio. The studio is the like this one, a desktop application. There you have to install. The developer has to install and they have to capture the application here. They have to design here. And here is the like for example, if you want to build any custom script, there you have to integrate here. But now the latest is that one 2.0. 2.0 is we do not have any, do not require any such desktop studio at all. So we have the cloud studio. So in the cloud platform only we can develop. In the same platform uh, we can deploy the automation. So first at the home page, you can see that here you can see if anything comes new, like if any, it will there will be any red color notification will appear here if something is newly introduced. IRPA, it always SAP is always introducing new packages on monthly basis nowadays. When you click on this one, you can see here. Okay, you can see. So at the time of when you start learning about the IRP automation tool, you just have to remember these things. First, you have to see is there any, you have to understand what it is tool is and what are the new technologies they have released and how we can able to manage and use it. Okay, and one more best practice is if you go to the store here, you can see here, just click on the Cloud Studio here and click on the learning. This is the most important thing when you start your learning. So click on the store, select the Cloud Studio. Don't go with the desktop studio as of now, and click on the learning. Here you can see lot many examples and step by step it is clearly defined. For example, Excel best practice. If you click here, you can see here what is example like how what is the best practice and how to use the Excel activities. Excel best practice, click on the sample best practice. You will get a document like this. So you can clearly define, they are clearly defined at what is the date and the version of this release, what are the new components they have, and what it requires for you to go through these step-by-step activities. Just click on this one and create one new project, how to create a project. And if you go here, like what kind of the activities we have, how to use this one. So this is the best learning for you people to follow when you go to the store. Okay, this is one thing. In the home page, you can see these things like if anything new comes and what are the new agent. Agent means machines. How many machines are integrated on this cloud factory, and what are the how many jobs, packages, and the automation. What is the success rate of this automation which are running in this tenant? So if you go to the projects, first I go for the projects. Always first create your project, like new project.
Sorry, I'm intervening, Santoshi.
Yes.
Please do not go into too much detail because
Yeah, sure, sure.
we'll have to wind up in next few minutes.
Yeah. I will just show
Although
that
it's
one.
a very good session, I should not have said this, but in the proximity of time, I would request you to please.
Yeah, okay. For the timing, what I do is
Yeah.
I will show the which is already I have developed recently.
Just glance through it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will just show that one. Okay. Okay. Okay, but you can, if you, whenever you get time, right, you can follow these things. You can just go through these steps and all. Okay. So here, what in the applications, when as soon as you developed one project, okay, one project, when you develop the project, you just have to go inside that project, and I will just show you the dependencies, how to do it. Dependencies, like if you want to do any Excel automations, you have to add the dependencies. If you want to do any SAP like web-based applications, if you go to the settings, here you have to upgrade your dependencies, add dependencies, and you can choose your dependencies in the flow in the down like if you want to PowerPoint, PDF, Outlook and all. Without doing it, if you try to search for an activity in the right side, you cannot able to see it. For example, if I want to search for an Excel, here I can see because I have the Excel dependency here. If you do not add the dependencies, you cannot see these activities. So these activities, we are going to use it for the automation. So applications, first thing is we have to create the applications. Applications in the sense, what are all the kind of the applications you are going to you are going to integrate in the same automation tool. So once you've done the applications, all the pages you have to capture, like what many pages you want to clicks and all you have to define. These are the elements like clicks. For example, you want to click on this back button, you want to capture this first name, last name and all. And once you, this is the declaration page. Once your declaration is done, you have to come to the automation. Here you can prepare your workflow. Okay, here the Excel activities first I have integrated. Okay, first I will show you what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to save the Excel output. I'm just showing you the empty file now, and I will. This is my this is where I want to save my output. And after that, I'm just executing this. Okay, as I show you, right? This is the agent, is this one. Okay, test it. Okay, I just show you the agent at once. These are the tenants. If you want to, I just have to activate the tenant which I want to run. Okay, this is the tenant link I have given there. If I click on the test, it will ask me for the environment, on which environment you want to run. So here what I did is first I'm reading the Excel sheet and I'm adding the values like name, address, phone number, country, whatever the details I want to save for the save to send in the Excel sheet. And once the init Excel is open, it will just enter all the username, and after that it will navigate to the one link. This is the link, and it will click on the show employee details. This is everything bot is doing. Once you click on each and every, it is looping through the each and every users, how many users are available on that link. And it is also extracting this first name, last name, address and all. And it is saving it in one Excel sheet. And once it's done, I'm not killing this Excel because I'm logged in with the same browser, Chrome browser. So once it's done, you can see here, it has still closed. It has also executed the Outlook instance also. If I go to the Outlook, so this is the Outlook. This is just now only I have received this mail. Okay, till the time it will load, I will show you the output, how it is extracted and how it has given the output. Yeah, our file was empty before running the automation. So this like this, it has extracted all the names, address from the website, phone number and country. It is extracted and it all everything is saved in this file. And in this one here, it has sent the mail for me as an attachment, the same Excel sheet. This is how it is. Just an example I have used. It is a simple automation that where I have used Excel activity, Outlook activity, and a web application automation. That's it. Okay. So as I told you, if anywhere you get time, you can just go through these blogs and you can see. And also you can try how many execution like automation, simple automation, like a kind of a web-based applications first time. So it will be simple for you. You can go for Amazon, Flipkart, any e-commerce sites, and you can extract the like any brand and the like rates and all. You can save it in Excel sheet. That is one type of use case you can try for the first time. Okay. Now,
Thank you, Santoshi. Any questions till now? You can still be on the screen while
yes.
for the bot screen. You can just go to that workflow screen. Any questions from the students? I'm sure it was little technical, but
Yeah.
we wanted to make it as simple as possible. Hence, we also took some time in giving the introduction and helping you to know what exactly the robotic process automation can do. As Santoshi rightly said, we will share you the URL links. You may explore the process anytime. You need any help, you can just drop us a note and we can try to help you again with another session if possible. Or else there is also help available from the portal in itself. So you can also explore the same. So today in this session, what we did is, we gave you the introduction about robotic process automation, how robotic process automation can bring the change in the digital journey. And one of the tool for robotic process automation is SAP's Intelligent Robotic Process Automation tool, which is simple tool with a simple architecture, which was explained. Right, it has desktop studio and desktop, agent, and where we configure, and we also gave you a demo to explore. So yeah, that's the summary of today's session. So we are good. If there are any questions, one or two questions we can attempt to answer. Else we will hand it over to Abhilash.
Coordinators, could you take it over, please? Khushbu and Priyanshi.
Thank you, ma'am, for this lovely session. Thank you, Santoshi, ma'am, Amrita, ma'am, and Sukshita, ma'am. It was amazing to hear about this, and I'm sure we, along with all the other participants, got to learn a lot. And I will request the participants to ask any questions if they have any. I think they're ready to answer.
Could you share your contact details where the students can send you, Sukshita, some messages or mails? Because I'm sure when we are sharing this on stage, the technical students would like to reach out to you. I can see there are some non-technical BBA students here, but the technical ones definitely would like to reach out.
Sure, Jasdeep and Abhilasha. I'll share my email ID, official email ID. Team can reach out if there are any questions.
We will also be sharing the feedback form for this event, so we would request the participants to fill that. I don't think any participants have any questions left. So I would like to thank Sukshita ma'am, Santoshi ma'am, and Ambika ma'am once again for this session. And now I would like to ask Dr. Abhilasha to take over. Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you for your time. It was a wonderful experience, and we are really happy that we could enable you at least, sharing the knowledge what we have. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Excuse me, Sukshita, can we have a picture on the screen? I will see if you can guide us up.
Sure.
Please.
Everyone, if you can switch on your videos, we can have a group photograph.
Ambika.
Yes, Smita, we have already started.
I've taken the photograph.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambika, Santoshi, and Sukshita. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Jyoti.
Thank you. Dr. Abhilasha, could you just...
Yeah. So thank you, Santoshi, Ambika, and Sukshita for a really nice presentation. So I also have an interesting announcement for all the participants. And that announcement is like I just want to give you a little introduction about WIBD, that we have 5 verticals in India chapter. So we have Vidya. The event which you are attending is under the Vidya vertical, in which we are doing a regular events with the leaders from the industry, and we are trying to train students, academicians, and the person from the corporate. And Saraswati is in which we are working in the curriculum design. Shakti, in which we are helping the people, those who want to restart their career. Now, when I'm saying people, we are morely focusing on the women, because we want to increase the women representation and participation in the tech and in big data. The Gayatri program is the partnership with the industry associations and the other thing. The main interest area of the students and the professionals, those who want to change or those who want to look for the opportunities, is the Lakshmi program, in which we have job fairs, and also we have a lot of internship opportunities in the big data field. So we have started this India chapter in October 2020, and we have seen a very good response from the partners, corporate partners, and also we got a very good response from the academic partners also, because our main motto is to nurture the women from each and every sector. It's not only for a particular background women or a student, like that student should be from CSC, student from can be of any field, from any year. So we want to increase the awareness about big data. So I just give a few names of the big corporates, those who are working in the big data and analytics. So there are a lot of opportunities for the internship, full-time and part-time, which are coming to us. And we want you all to take the benefit from those opportunities. Like if you name few companies, ThoughtSpot is partner with us, Optisol, Shivark, ThoughtAge, Infinitics, Incure, Orina, Shiroz, Amplify Analytics. The list is long. I'm just giving the few names. Now, what we want from you all is, because all these opportunities are for you. So we want you to come forward and share your ideas with us that yes, we are interested. And for that, we are looking for the participants from our member universities. So you can check with your faculty that you are a member university with WIBD or not. If you are not member university, you can also reach out to us for becoming a member with us, and you can also share your interest area. Definitely the first preference will be given to the members, participants from the member institutions. But if you are an active member and if you are attending all the events, then definitely you will be getting a chance. Like in this event, we have our coordinators, those who are very active, like Anubhuti, Priyanshini, Khushbu. So they are very active. So we have these people, those who are active. So we want you also to be active in the events, and you can send a mail to us. Share my screen, and I will share the mail IDs with you, where you can send your ideas that yes, we are looking for internship and we want to do internship in this area. We have this expertise with us and we have attended these many events. So I'm telling you, this is not a blanket approval that if you are a student of a particular university and if that university is our partner, it's not saying that you will get an internship for sure. We will check your skill area. We will check your active participation in the WIBD events. So make sure that you are taking benefit of these events, and please drop us a mail on info@womenandbigdata.in, or you can drop a mail to me because I'm handling the university relationship. You can drop a mail to Abhilasha Vyas at womenandbigdata.asia. So you can note down both the mail IDs. I will also dropping these two mail IDs in the chat box so that later also you can use it. So these are the two mail IDs which you can note, and you can share your interest area, and also please mention that how many events you have attended with WIBD. And every time we are organizing such events where we are inviting the industry persons, like we were having Ambika, Sukshita, Santoshi with us today. So we are inviting the people from industry to come and share their experience, because the main motto is to bridge the gap between the industry and between the academia. So I hope that you all will be going to take this opportunity which we have with WIBD. So a lot of industry partners are coming with the internship and the job offers also. So please take the benefit and reach out to us if you have anything to share from your side, any suggestions from your side, or if your university or your organization would like to be part or member of WIBD India chapter. So that's all I want to say, Jasdeep ma'am. Thank you so much for giving 5 minutes to me for discussion related to internship. Yes. So what's next, Anubhuti? Khushbu? Jasdeep ma'am, would you like to add anything? Okay.
Thank you, Abhilasha ma'am, for